Welcome to the Global Procurement Training Program. Today, let's talk about fraud in procurement. In view of the large number of procurement transactions and of the amount of money involved in WHO, procurement is an activity exposed to a high risk of fraud or corruption. At the end of this video, you will understand why or how fraud is harmful to WHO and its mission, how WHO expects you to handle its resources, how to report fraud, resources available to you to prevent and report fraud in WHO. WHO defines fraud as misappropriation, irregularities, and illegal acts characterized by deceit, concealment, or violation of trust. In procurement, fraud is an act committed with the intention to obtain undue or illegal benefits. Fraud can occur at any point of the procurement lifecycle, during the preparation of requirements, the choice of a supplier, or the conclusion of a contract. Fraud can concern any procurement, regardless of its value. Fraud in procurement can have disastrous consequences for WHO and its member states. Fraud may cause loss of resources for WHO. Fraud may lead to the procurement of poor quality goods or services. Fraud may hinder the adequate and timely implementation of WHO programs and projects. Fraud may damage WHO's reputation and its member states' trust. Fraud can be committed either by a WHO staff or non-staff member, and/or by an external individual or entity, a bidder, a supplier, an organization, etc. Fraud in procurement can take multiple forms. Here are a few examples to help you identify fraudulent activities. Manipulation of requirements to favor one bidder or exclude other or others. Several suppliers colluding to agree on the value of their bid. Bribery for obtaining confidential information during a bidding process. Creation of fake suppliers. Suppliers delivering product substitutions or substandard quality products. False performance reporting. Payment is made on the basis of non-existing or non-satisfactory performance. WHO has procurement principles and processes in place, always following WHO procurement principles and processes, even in emergency settings, is the best way to avoid or limit the risk of fraud. For example, procuring goods through WHO catalogue, conducting solid tender processes, respecting delegation of authority, segregating tasks, ensuring proper contract monitoring can dramatically mitigate the risk of fraud. Also, when dealing with a new potential vendor, WHO staff must always exercise due diligence and verify that they are not on the ineligibility lists published by the United Nations Global Marketplace, UNGM.org. In case of doubt, members of the WHO workforce are encouraged to seek guidance from their supervisor, their procurement expert, the regional DAF, or confidentially through WHO Integrity Hotline. When offered retribution in exchange of a contract or payment by WHO, or when witnessing acts of fraud or corruption, staff and non-staff must report to their supervisor, the regional DAF or IOS. All can also contact WHO's Integrity Hotline. WHO takes fraud very seriously, because fraudulent conduct is unacceptable to WHO. Suspected fraud cases are systematically investigated by the Office of Internal Oversight Services, IOS. The Director General may decide to take disciplinary action against a staff member suspected of fraud or other irregular act. The Director General may also decide to recover misappropriated funds, including by making deduction from salaries. Remember, fraud is an intentional act committed with the intention to obtain undue or illegal benefits. Fraud can happen at any point of the procurement life cycle. Fraudulent acts can be committed by staff, non-staff, external suppliers, etc. Fraud endangers WHO's capacity to implement its programs, and it damages the organization's reputation. Let us make sure, as WHO staff, non-staff or supplier, that we follow procurement procedures, mitigate the risk, and report suspected fraud. Resources are available to better understand and manage the risk of fraud. The main ones are listed here. Thank you for watching this video. See you soon.